Good morning, bond traders. Hope y'all are doing well today. Welcome to Friday, September 2, the first Friday of September. And we are into employment status report this morning, coming out at 7:30. Hop over to Econoday and see what's going on in the calendar. As you can see, the main event is the employment situation at 7:30 a.m. That's bound to move the markets, so if you are an intraday trader, it's a great idea to be flat before that number comes out. As you know, things can get a little crazy. That time, one thing to watch out for is potential scene of the crime, which would be that the number comes out, there's a quick spike in one direction, and then over time, it slowly returns back to where it started from. All right, let's get into some charts over here. All right, where to begin? Let's go ahead and start with the overnight activity. If you look up here, this is the Ultra Bond. The teal session is, these are volumetric profiles. The teal session is yesterday's regular trading hour session from 7:30 to 2 Central Standard Time. And the blue histogram is actually all the overnight activity. The yellow line is just the price line. So you can see yesterday we had a big drop down when the cash market opened. Overnight, we're just sort of ranging around in the top area. Peaked up, now it's right back down at the point of control, which is this pink line here. And as you can see, and as would be expected, a lot of the products are just wiggling around their point of control, waiting for that number. So we are definitely, looks like we're on track to be opening in range and in value in the Ultra Bond. Let's take a look at the 30 year. 30 year, similar situation. Yep. There was a peak up here around 2 a.m. and then it's right back down here where we started. White line is the overnight point of control. 10 year, same thing. And the 5 year, just like yesterday morning, 5 year is also down and ranging around, but it is a little bit higher than the others here. Not by much. Let's see, this is just a picture of the Globex trades. It's the volumetric tracking of the Globex hours. So this is all the trades that took place within the 24-hour period. This is the Ultra Bond 30 year. As you can see, we're in a very thick range right here. So should prices go up, there's a lot of wiggle room before we hit resistance up here. Let's go back. I didn't make a note of that for the Ultra. Yep, same thing. There's a see this big cave over here? So next big area of resistance would be way up here at 14721. Alternatively, we could drop down and downwards. There's nothing to report down there in terms of volumes traded. All right, so here's the 10 year and the 5 year. 2 years over here. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to. We're going to take a look at some of the TPOs. So here's the Ultra Bond. These are the regular trading hours volume profiles. So all that you see here is just the trading that took place from 7:20 a.m. to 2 p.m. Here's the 30 year. As you can see, we're in this very pronounced edge right here. Some little caves and valleys up here on the composite chart on the right hand side. Be interesting. All right, let's see. We're going to go to 10 year. Again, same thing. Drop down yesterday's trading hours, and then boom, lots of room here in the middle. So if we shoot up, we could shoot way up. All right, 5 year and the 2 year. All right, let's look at those TPOs. These are the 30-minute blocks. The way that I have mine arranged is that the yellow area is the first 5 minutes of trading, which would be 7:20 to 7:25. The yellow lines extending out from there are also those opening range high and opening range low, just so I can keep track. It's very frequently at the beginning of the day. If you look up here, the opening range will either be the top or the bottom. And on other days, there might be a little bit of wiggle room to one side, but not always. But many times, the opening range will be situated at the top or bottom of the profile. That's helpful for us in determining direction we are to follow a trend. The green is the next half an hour after that, so 7:30 to 8. I've got everything else in teal except for the white, which is the 11 o'clock hour. Then the red is where we close, so that's 1:30 to 2. And then I've got the 2 to 3 highlighted over here in magenta, just to see what happened after the technical close. This trading is still permissible from those at that time. Excuse me. All right, so here we are, and the yellow line is the price line. So as you can see in the Ultra Bond, had a big drop down yesterday, kind of a rangy day, and now we are opening in value and in range. So it's probably going to be similar for the other products here. Let's take a look. I'm not seeing my price line on this, but this I do see the price marker, 133.17. Same thing. We're in value and in range. One thing to look for is if we do go higher, you'd expect price to go up here and test this value area low, which is the teal line here. And frequently, if it does pierce through that value area low and penetrate and hold and price accepts above it, it'll make a run up towards the POC or to the value area high. Those are all good potential targets. And again, careful to point out this is not trade advice. Everyone's responsible for their own trading. And you can lose more than you risk when you trade futures. So just be careful out there. Okay, we are in the 10-year right here. In range, in value. 5-year, in range, in value. The entire suite. Here's the 2-year, in range and in value. I've got this other chart here that just simply marks out those levels, which makes it easier for me to see. I will drag this back over to the other screen here. These trades are a little bit buggy for me this morning. I'm not sure what's going on with all that. Let's see here. Go ahead and pull up our depth of market charts. One second here. All right, let's see what we're seeing over here. We want to get to now. We're just going to look at the tick charts here. These are 124 tick charts. The red line is the VWAP. If you go back in time, where the price is above that line, I have it set so that my VWAP becomes green. The dashed lines above are that's the first VWAP deviation, and the second VWAP deviation. You see often acts as little areas of support or resistance targets. See how yesterday this price came down here, touched the second volume deviation, VWAP deviation, and now it's bouncing up to the first. They just kind of help me keep track of where we are. So as you can see, let's just briefly go through. The Ultra Bond is it's underneath its VWAP. It's also underneath the 100 period moving average, which is this blue line. And I do not have them plotted on the chart, but I also keep track of the 10 moving average exponential and the 50. And when the 10 crosses the 50 to the downside, I'll get a little white arrow down here. So as you can see, the 10 is actually under the 50 at the moment. So all signs are bearish at the moment. But this is very temporary, because once that jobs number comes out, all hell's going to break loose. Let's take a look at the ZB. ZB also is under the VWAP, under the 100. The 10 is under the 50. And we're also under the 9-day moving average. Take a look at the ZN. ZN is also under VWAP, although it's a little bit closer. And the 100 and the VWAP in almost all of these situations are very close together. Let's see, yeah, we've also got the orange line here, which is 2 days ago VWAP. Generally acts as, you'll see some support. You'll see it act as support and resistance in certain occasions. Right here on the 5-year. Came up, came down, touched that number, and then bounced up. Let's see what is left here to go over. All right, up here, these are the 3-minute. That's not going to help us right now. I use those to keep track of things in the short term. What I do want to drag up there, though, is I want to drag up my 30-minute charts and just see, look at these. Each one of these candles is 30 minutes. See, we've just been flatlining, just sitting there. So everyone's waiting for those economic numbers to come out. So what I'll do here is read right here. Thanks again for being here, y'all. And I started these because I noticed there was a lot of people doing pre-market preps, but they were for the ES and other products, and I only trade the bonds. So I wanted to make this not only for you, but also just for myself, to make sure that I do my homework, to make myself accountable. And it's actually really helped me out. Doing really good at getting my homework done in the afternoon before I leave my desk. As you can see here, we've got our depth market charts. What I did is I went through and marked out all the price levels. I had marked the overnight low. That is erroneous now because the overnight, it's got a little bit more exploring down below. Same thing in the 30-year. All right. Take a look at some important levels here. And as we are opening in value and in range, so see the value area high is going to be up here. It's a naked value area right up there. Yesterday's high is way up here. These are important levels. A lot of times price will approach these levels. They're great for targets or, yeah, pretty much that's what I use them for. Targets, areas where they might see some resistance. Settlement was here yesterday in the Ultra Bond, if you can see my mouse. And you can see the Globex point of control, the settlement, and the regular trading hours point of control were all right next to each other. Marked out the overnight point of control is shifted. OP is what I call it. It's for brevity. OP. OP is right here. So you can see we're exploring a little bit. We're having a little bit of a rotation to the downside. Let's see. Down here we've got the value area low from yesterday. Got the Globex value area low. Yesterday's low. Yeah, those will really help us out in terms of finding places where we might ride a trade until, or areas of interest. Let's take a look and see if we see any volume areas jutting out. I've got my DOM set to a histogram. So, oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to mark this LP for liquidity pool down here at 145.03 in the Ultra. There's somebody sitting down there. As a matter of fact, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and crack open our heat maps, which can sometimes be helpful for this. All right, so you see what these are is just a heat map of the order book. So the longer, the bigger that a resting order is, the brighter white it will be. And the longer that it's been in the book, you'll see it back here through time. So you can tell if somebody's new and they just put it in a large order, if they've been there for a while. So as you can see in the ZF, way up here at 110, 185, you can see that on the, you can see the ZF right here, 110, 185, is also reflected over here in the DOM, 170, 110, 185. Just gonna mark that LP for liquidity pool. All right, let's get back to the Ultra Bond where we're going in order here. Ultra Bond, what I see is nothing major above, way up there at 146.22-ish. Down below, there's a large order at 145.03. Let's check that out over here. Yeah, that's the one we marked right there, 274. Just good to be aware of these. A lot of times those will act as magnets because there's a lot of liquidity there. So if price happens to be in the mood to explore in that direction, it will get down to that area, and sometimes that area will hold. People will be rejected, and price will back up. Sometimes it takes a couple attempts to break through. Sometimes it will not break through on that day. Sometimes it'll nibble through, or sometimes people will pull those orders and price will shoot right down or up. Okay, let's check out the 30-year. Anything of note? I'll check it out on the heat map here. There we go, ZB. Oh, we've got a little bit of larger resting orders up here above 134. 34-ish. Guess that's this guy right here, 472, 404. I'm actually surprised that there's still this much liquidity. And the 10-year over here, we're still at 1,000, 1,500. A lot of times, right before that jobs number comes out, everybody will pull out. There will be very much fewer resting orders in the book, which also makes it price a little more slippery. Let's see. All right, let me get rid of these heat maps. Excuse me. Take a look at everything all as one. See how that looks. Oop, we still got one heat map up. Get rid of that. Yep. And again, just taking a look over here on the right-hand side. Noticing the volume profiles. Big drop down yesterday. This is all 24-hour. This is the Globex session. We're right in here. We're ranging right here at this high value area. And a lot of trades have executed there. A lot of room up to above. So actually this is 147.14. Maybe. This little good T1 up there. Could be a good place to take some profits. Yep. Well, I guess we'll see, folks. Be careful out there. Remember that being in cash is a position. If you have a losing day, you will long for the moment where you are flat and neutral. So don't get involved unless you see a good reason, according to your own plan and style. Wishing you all the best of luck. Hope you have a fantastic day. It's 7:16 now, so that's pretty quick. Hopefully these will get a little more smooth as I get going. Let's go back to our title screen here, and I will send you on your way. Have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend, and best of luck to you all. Take care.